Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You got a great car, great team, we'll execute. Our time, we know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Start your engines!
This is how it's gonna be done. Set fire, gonna end the game. Set fire, gonna make a name. Set fire, oh you'll remember this. I'm not gonna miss, 'cause I deserve this. Whoa, whoa, oh yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh yeah, yeah. Victory.
And good evening, race fans, to another beautiful Saturday evening here for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. This week we visit New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and Pace Car is leading the field around here. And you know, once we get things set to go green, it'll be an interesting race here. There was a little bit of a schedule update there, so we have 2 races, and I believe last time I said that we had a couple of races left, but this week. We have New Hampshire, and then we have Auto Club, and then our chase will begin. So a little bit of a schedule change here in the National Stock Car iRacing Series. But 10 drivers will take the drop of the green flag here. Joseph Smith will get that pole starting position. Xavier Rogelbrugge will be to his outside. 160 laps here. Stage at lap 80. Rolling into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. We're off in racing from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Side by side as they head down this back straightaway. Xavier Rogelbrugge peeking to the high side. Joseph Smith working that inside lane. They're going to remain even as they head into 3 and 4. Smith all the way down on that bottom side, while Rogelbrugge works that high side, and as they come to lap 1, that's going to go to Xavier Rogelbrugge. So Xavier getting to just barely nudge out in front there at the line. Joseph Smith, though, hanging strong on the inside. Christopher Stange back in third. Oh, moments there off of 2 for multiple drivers. Joseph Smith being one of them. John Tiller also involved, or also going around there further back. Two separate incidents coming off of 2 involving I'd say, well, I don't know if I'd say involving, but Smith going around, able to hang on to his car, while John Taylor back here in the 27 fully went around and brought out the caution. He was not able to keep it maintained and straight, but that car looks pretty, I don't think there's going to be too much damage. I mean, there is some rear end damage, but it looks pretty good for the most part, and he'll have to spend some time on pit road trying to get that fixed, but nothing that'll take him out the race here. Well, let's take a look at this one here, folks, as they came off of 2. So you see up ahead, maybe a little bit of slight contact between Xavier and Joseph Smith, and then right there, John Tiller goes around, and I think that was Ryan Haller, who might have barely clipped him as well in that 19 car behind. And really, John just got maybe on the throttle a little bit too hard on those colder tires, and around it went, and Ryan just nowhere to go. Doesn't look like there's a lot of front end damage, but definitely looked like a pretty decent hit to that left front. So we're going to roll ourselves under caution here for the first time tonight at lap number 2. Brought out our caution here. Right now we'll be coming across this to the start-finish line to take lap 5. So early incident here involving just 2 drivers for the most part. We do have majority of these guys who did come down, or half of these guys came down to maybe top off some fuel or get some of that damage checked out. But up at the front, I mean, it's remained the same. The top 3 drivers, Xavier Rogelbrugge, Joseph Smith, Christopher Stange, still going to be your top 3 here when we get the green flag in just a moment. Pace car going to roll its way off of 4 onto pit road, rolling on to get into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. A great start by Xavier Rogelbrugge up at the front. Joseph Smith, Christopher Stange going to get a little bit of a battle here going on for a second. As they roll their way through 3 and 4, that gap with 1 and 2 has pulled away from third place driver Christopher Stange. They come back around and they're going to get this lap underway while the battle for the race lead heats up once again momentarily. Smith working that inside lane like we saw him at the very start on lap 1. Not able to get that momentum boosted off the exit of 2 though, so he'll have to try again here in 3 and 4. This time searches up a bit higher. Xavier running that middle lane, trying to take away some of that clean air from that 31 car. Riding on board with the 51 of Wyatt McGilson. Currently running in 6th position, getting a little bit of fire from Kenneth Lowry behind in the 35. Maybe a little bit of slight contact with that outside wall as he worked himself off of 4. That's going to open up the door again for the 35 to try and take a look to the inside. Wasn't able to carry momentum. And like we've seen Joseph up towards the front do, Kenneth's going to roll that bottom lane, trying to get some momentum built up. Back up front, the battle for the race lead heating up once again. Smith sends it in deep, washes Xavier up just a bit. Those two going to be able to remain side by side though as they head off of 2. Smith trying to take this race lead from Xavier. Xavier doing a great job at defending. Will it be enough though? Xavier just barely able to hang on to the high side here as they come off of 4. Christopher Stange right behind him in 3rd, just waiting in the wind, trying to wait for the perfect opportunity to pounce on these 2 drivers ahead of him. As they get it sorted out, once again, they'll go back to single file. Joseph Smith not able to make that inside work quite as much as he wants to. Maybe trying to save a little bit of tire. Maybe trying to test out the waters as well here early on. 80 laps will be our end of stage. And if this thing goes green until then, you'll need to be able to keep these tires on these race cars. This track's so difficult. Once you start to wear those tires, you really start to lose a lot of grip. And once again, we see Joseph Smith looking to the inside in 3 and 4, but Xavier still running strong in that middle lane. We'll take a look back to Joseph Smith and Christopher Stange, who continue to try and hunt down Xavier Rogelbrugge and make a mistake up at the front, but Xavier's done a great job at hanging on in that top lane around here. Smith once again trying to take his shot in that lower lane, trying to get the power down off the exit. Looked like a decent exit there, and he'll be able to get a pretty good entry here into 3 and 4, I think. Again, still having to take the shorter way around, and around here at a track like this, I'd say it's a good line to take. You just got to realize that if you're not able to make it fully stick as much as you possibly can, you'll probably lose a bit of time in the center of the corner trying to get it rotated fully. So you've kind of seen that out of Joseph Smith these past couple of laps, maybe as well, not trying to overdo it. But Smith, he's got so many wins on the season here so far. I don't think he's really going to risk too much here early on to collect another win. Now, I do think maybe if this thing gets towards the end and these two are, or at least these 3 are under the same blanket like they are right now, we could potentially see some bumpers maybe being given out. But right now, I mean, Joseph Smith just playing the long game, trying to force Xavier into, again, making a mistake or forcing Xavier to overthink a corner. Our last winner before we were off for a week there last week was Xavier Rugglebrugge, I believe. So he's trying to collect another win here as well. Remember, these two up at the top have really been nose to tail this whole season, flip-flopped when it comes to wins. It's usually one or the other each week. We've seen a few other drivers kind of stick their hand in the playing field, but it's really been just between Joseph Smith and Xavier Rugglebrugge. And you look back at third place driver Christopher Stange here in the 29, really having a decent early start to this race, carrying a lot of speed with these two leaders. And that's not too surprising to see out of Christopher Stange, but at a short track like this where you are the third car in line and you have to deal with this dirty air, I mean, he hasn't really let that affect that race car too much. He's been able to maintain the same pace as these two in front of him, if not maybe been a bit quicker depending on the lap. That last lap he was actually the quickest of the top three. So I mean, Christopher Stange doing an excellent job here early on in tonight's 160 lap race from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Now, I don't expect these guys to probably... I'd have to do some calculations, but if these guys did have to pit, I would not expect it to be for a good while. I think it would probably be about the 50, 60 lap mark. I'm not quite sure, though. I have to try and do some math to try and remember what exactly a fuel window is in this league for a short track. But... the biggest thing, like I said earlier, is going to be able to manage, being able to manage these tires on this run. And now that this field is kind of starting to spread out just a bit more, it's going to allow some of these guys to maybe try and figure out something and maybe try and gain some more ground up on these guys who have kind of pulled away out in front. You see the 51 of Wyatt McKilson there taking a look to the inside of Michael Badra in the 37. Michael Badra there running the high side, trying to get that momentum built up. He'll be able to hang on the top side. He's got his teammate behind him, Kenneth Lowry in the 35, giving a little bit of assistance. Those three drivers right there in picture, the 35, 37, 27, all teammates. So we got teammates battling back there for 8th and 9th, and we got right in front of them another teammate trying to hang on to the 6th position while getting under fire from Wyatt McKilson. Oh, a little bit of a wall tap back there. I think that was the 35 of Kenneth Lowry who got that outside wall there off of 2. Definitely a difficult place to try and avoid an outside wall. I mean, turn 2, you really either have grip half the time or you just lose it all. And it's so line specific coming off the exit here. You have the chance, like we saw earlier from John Tiller, going around trying to get the throttle, trying to get that car rotated. But you also see guys like we just saw out of the 35 of Kenneth Lowry hitting that outside wall if you're not able to get it turned fully straight off the exit. 25 into this 160 lap race. This battle for the race lead has not gone away. Christopher Stange losing a little bit of momentum from these top 2 drivers. He's now back a second behind these two battling for the race lead, but still hanging strong in that 3rd position. Wyatt McKilson trying to move himself up into the top 5. Dylan Carrier currently occupies that position. We're going to go ahead and step away for our first commercial break of the night. We'll be right back with you guys, but you guys won't miss a thing here for the National Stock Car iRacing Series live from New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out.
Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
Gonna stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Drivers, start your engines.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the National Stock Car iRacing Series, live from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We saw a little bit of a lead change up towards the front. Joseph Smith, and now taking the race lead from Xavier Rugglebruggy, who moves himself out in front by now, just over half a second as they work around here. Smith had early strong speed, really just kind of was a matter of time before we probably saw him take a shot at the race lead. He had been trying for a long time and eventually was able to find that speed that he needed to move around the 5 of Xavier Rugglebruggy. And you know, he hasn't necessarily pulled away too much so far, but he has put a little bit of a gap between himself and Xavier. And then Christopher Stange back in third, who was running up there with those two, has now fallen back to just under 3 seconds, sitting at about 2.5 to, wow, now it's gone back up to 3 seconds. So, Christopher Stange falling back to 3 seconds behind these two. He was looking super promising there early on and may have had a hiccup or two trying to maintain with Xavier and Joseph. But the good news for him is he's got a while until he sees our 4th place driver, Dylan Carrier, back here in this 54, running way high there in 1 and 2. Not sure if that was planned. It looks like he's definitely trying to take a higher line. You see that car swing out on the exit of 2, trying to get the power down as best he can. Runs a little bit lower here, and this time in 3 and 4, but still taking a little bit of a higher line, trying to diamond the corner and take a bigger arc on entry. And Wyatt McKilson right behind him in this 51 Bass Pro Shop Toyota Supra, trying to track down Dylan in front, but kind of in the same boat as Dylan in front. Doesn't have any pressure from behind, so really just kind of turning laps and trying to make up some of that ground while also not, really having too much to deal with in his rear view mirror. We have to head back to 6th position, John Tiller and Cody Blackmore. And then right behind Blackmore, you've got the rest of the field: Kenneth Lowry, Michael Badra, and then Ryan Haller. Those drivers currently rounding out this 10-car field here. Ryan trying to put some pressure on this 37 for this 9th position and move himself up. Ryan's had speed at some of these 1.5-mile tracks, but some other weeks, maybe struggling a bit more, trying to reel in some of these bad weeks that have left him, I wouldn't necessarily say in a hole, but maybe a little bit of a less confident boost, trying to get that confidence back, and right now trying to gain himself a spot. Christopher Stange on pit road there. Not sure if it looks like he probably decided to come down. We'll see. Yes, it looks like the Christopher Stange coming down at lap 40 to get those 4 tires in fuel. He'll be the first driver here to come down pit road, and we'll see how that works out for him. And I don't know if Smith or Rugglebruggy will follow this time by, but I would expect them to probably be pitting within the next 10 laps. But again, we said our estimated pit window was probably around lap 50, 60, and Stange deciding to undercut that just a bit, coming down pit road there after running in 3rd for the beginning of this race so far. Rugglebruggy, who has done a good job at hanging tight with our race leader, Joseph Smith, kind of still running that same line like we saw him run earlier, taking a little bit of a more shallow exit, still hanging back to about 0.4 of a second. As you see Smith have a little bit of a slide there on corner entry, got that car way out there. Might have cost him just a little bit of time, but does a nice job to recover on exit. Now, like we mentioned at the start of this race, there was a little bit of a scheduling mix-up and error there that they figured out last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, I think technically, but we didn't have the race go live last week just due to some scheduling issues with the league. So that race got pushed aside, and it was going to be Virginia I believe it was VIR, Virginia International Raceway, and again, that race being postponed, which leaves us with here tonight at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Then we do have one last race before our chase begins. That'll be at Auto Club next week. That'll be 130 laps in total. And then we'll officially, after the conclusion of next week, be able to get our chase standings and figure out which couple of drivers here will be fighting for the championship. Although I do believe majority of these guys in the field tonight will be a part of that chase. Again, we'll have to get that full picture here heading into next week, and then we will begin our chase and our championship hunt towards the end of the season here for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Wyatt McKilson in the 51, getting around Dylan Carrier there for third as they went into 1 and 2. Now Wyatt moves himself up to the third position, and we also had some other drivers come down pit road. Cody Blackmore and John Hiller joining Christopher Stange to make up those couple of drivers that have worked themselves down pit road so far in this race. Again, those drivers pitting a little bit sooner than expected, but if maybe you're needing to have some sort of advantage, or I guess not really advantage, but if you want to play a little bit of a strategy card and kind of break this first stage up, I mean, that's probably what the 29 was doing. We'll see how it decides to play out for him when we do see these two drivers on in front, Joseph Smith and Xavier Ruggleborgi, come down pit road to make their pit stop. But those new tires definitely will probably put that 29 out front. By how much, it'll be interesting to see. Smith continuing to roll the bottom here on the racetrack, while out front with that clean air, Xavier Ruggleborgi back behind, still maintaining this 3 to 4/10 second gap. You see the 29 of Christopher Stange right behind these two, trying to get his lap back and put himself back fully on the lead lap. "30 laps to go here in the first stage." Again, that first stage will be at the conclusion of lap 80, and each one of these drivers, because we only have 10 points or 10 spots that we'll be giving those stage points out to, will get points here in this race. So each one of these drivers will get some points. It'll just be decided between who will be where, and it'll be interesting to see if Joseph can hang on and get the stage win. We have yet to see what Christopher Stange can do here after coming down pit road at about lap 40 there. You say Xavier Ruggleborgi in second place now, taking that hard left turn onto pit road. Pit road speed limit 45 miles an hour. It's a very slow pit road here. You don't want to try and overdo it, trying to gain some in speed, and you're already going to go down a lap more than likely. You see 4 cars currently on the lead lap. Those 4 drivers, besides Xavier, have yet to make a pit stop. Xavier, though, now it looks like he'll be able to get in his box pretty simple, pretty easy, nice and clean. He should be able to get out of here as well, as long as he doesn't have any sort of issues leaving his pit box. But it looks like a nice clean stop for the number 5 of Xavier Ruggleborgi. Joseph Smith right behind him now, coming to the attention of his pit crew. He'll get 4 tires in fuel here once he gets into his box. Nice and clean for him as well. It looks like Ryan Haller back there in the 19 leaving his box. So he's completed his service. The 37 of Michael Batra as well completing his service. So where will Christopher Stange cycle out? You see Christopher Stange right there on your screen. He came down pit road the earliest. Xavier Rugglebruggy getting around Joseph Smith there, and Joseph Smith having a little bit of a gap between him and Xavier as they head down the back straightaway, trying to get up to speed. That's going to be about a second gap, and then they have to go to about a second and a half in front to see Christopher Stange. So with those newer tires, they should be able to get to the back bumper of Christopher Stange. It's just going to be how long and how quickly can they actually get to Christopher Stange, who, again, split this first stage up pretty even down the middle, trying to get this stage win, trying to hang on to it here as we come around to 55 and to take 56. Oh, a caution on the racetrack here, and it's going to involve the 54 of Dylan Carrier coming off the exit of 4. And that car is absolutely destroyed. Looks like a pretty hard impact to the 54 here. That's going to result in probably a night ender. That car leaking... well, I guess not technically leaking fluid, but it would be leaking fluid as that engine is completely destroyed. He's trying to work himself back around to pit road, but he'll go at least 1 lap down, potentially multiple laps down. You see him trying to use that wall to help him steer. That car had a very hard hit there. We'll take a look at it and see what exactly caused the incident, but that's going to help Christopher Stange just out a bit here. He'll be able to come down pit road and take some fresher tires. Those guys have been out there for about 6 laps, so he'll be able to take, I think he is going to come down and take tires, which would then give him a 6 lap tire advantage. We'll see what he actually decides to do here. Looks like yes, so Christopher Stange coming down to take tires, he'll be able to have a little bit of an advantage here on this restart coming up. Let's take a moment, though, and take a look and see what exactly happened to the 54 of Dylan Carrier, who has a hard, vicious impact with something coming off of 4. Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a hard hit. Trying to race. I can't quite tell which. I think that was the 27 of John Tiller. We'll have to take another angle and look at it. Yeah, that's John Tiller on the outside. Dylan Carrier trying to wrap that bottom side. And then slight contact there just sent that 54 up the track. Oh, and the hit there by Wyatt McKilson taking some heavy front end damage to that 51 as Dylan came sliding back across. Man, what a hit that was, directly into that outside wall. What a vicious hit. I mean, that definitely is going to be felt by Dylan probably tomorrow if he's running. I can't remember what he runs, but if he's running a direct drive wheel, that's definitely going to probably hurt just a bit there. Man, just straight up into that outside wall. And doesn't look like actually Wyatt's damage is too bad, but definitely had a pretty decent lick to that nose. Green flag back in the air. Xavier Rugglebrugge leads him off into 1 and 2. Joseph Smith back in second. Ryan Holler now taking that third position after staying out there a bit and gaining some track position under that caution. Ryan has the 29 of Christopher Stange all over his back bumper. Remember, Christopher came down pit road right there after having a little bit of a different tire strategy there in that first little portion of the race. A little bit of a bobble that might open up the door for Ryan Holler to take a look back to the inside here off of 2. Will he be able to get the power down? Not quite, so he'll have to fall in line behind Christopher, as right behind them you have teammates looking to move themselves inside the top 5 together. John Taylor going to be the first one of those drivers leading the hard charge for that team. Oh, slight contact and a bit of a bobble there again off of 4. Able to hang on to it. But a close call there for John Taylor in the 27, who almost collected Kenneth Lowry. Oh, another slide there as he comes off of 2. That's going to cost him a lot of positions. Loses 3 spots there. That just means Ryan has a little bit better breathing room here to work with now that he doesn't have the pressure from behind. Can Christopher Stange make these tires work to his advantage? Remember, it's not that big of a tire advantage, but it would be enough to probably make a slight difference here, but he needs to catch these 2 out in front first. They have a second lead over third place Christopher Stange as the battle for the race lead heats up once again. Xavier Rugglebrugge fast on these short runs, but you really see Joseph Smith start to come into play here about 15-20 laps into a run. Smith trying to put the pressure on Xavier on the bottom side, not quite able to get fully inside. Smith slides back behind the 5 for the time being, but Xavier holding strong out at the front, not letting Joseph Smith put too much pressure on. Right on board with Xavier here. You can see what he's doing from inside this race car. A nice clean exit of 2. Heading down into 3 and 4, trying to do his best, and we actually looks like we've lost Xavier Rugglebrugge there for a second. Now he's back, so having a good clean exit of 2 there. A little bit of an issue there, connection-wise, as he worked himself through 3 and 4. Now he shows back up, so that could have been a moment for Joseph Smith to maybe try and make another pounce on the 5 to reclaim the race lead. Not able to do so there off of 2. And Christopher Stange slowly closing back up to these 2. The gap went from 1 second to now half a second. Smith all over the back bumper, Xavier. He's got to worry about Christopher Stange, so if he wants to get the race lead here, he's got to do it pretty soon before he gets a challenge for that second position. They work themselves off of 2. These top 3 separated by under half a second on one another. Smith trying to get it diamond and turn back to get a move to the inside here. He's so close, but hasn't been able to get fully to the inside of Xavier quite yet. Doing the same thing, a little bit of a higher entry. You'll see the 31 come sliding down across the screen to get that car turned. Will that be enough of a run this time? So close, but again, not quite able to make it stick. Christopher Stange had to check up a bit there off of 4 last lap. Lost a little bit of momentum. as Smith now fully works that inside lane as they come off of 4. Oh, maybe a bit of a kiss there to the 5's bumper as they move themselves into 3. Smith was trying to decide which line he was going to work with, and Xavier played great defensing and really made Joseph, I wouldn't say miss that corner, but forced him to running a different line than he probably wanted to run. 10 laps to go, actually less than 10 laps to go here till we get the checkered for that first stage. Smith knows it. He's trying to put the pressure on Xavier once again, rolling all the way down below onto that apron. Not able to get it fully stuck though. Christopher Stain still looming in the back in 3rd. Oh, Smith with a bit of a bobble there. Didn't harm him too much, but definitely was noticeable. Back to 4th. We've got a battle heating up. Ryan Holler trying to hang on. Ryan now moves back to 5th. Trying to do a crossover on John Tiller to the inside. They'll be even as they head into 1 and 2. Ryan trying to get back another spot, which would mean another point for this 19, but Wyatt McKilson right behind him, trying to make this a 3-car battle for 4th. A bit of a slide out of Ryan there. That's going to cost him maybe this position as well as back up front. Smith now under pressure from Christopher Stain for 2nd. Like we've seen Smith not able to do so far, is that getting that car fully past the driver in front that he's trying to work in. Christopher Stage not able to do so either, so he'll have to fall back in line as well. Ryan's a big slide back here in this 19 car. Gonna cost him at least that 5th position. Maybe had a shot at getting back around John Tiller, but right now he's just kind of not having that grip that he needs to maintain the lap times that those two that just got around him have. But a 6th place would be good on the night for a stage point, a couple stage points. He just has to remain in that spot and really remain out of trouble these next handful of laps, as Christopher Sage now falling back off the back bumper of Joseph Smith. But I don't know if Smith is going to be able to close it down on Xavier. Dirty air really being a big issue here tonight, trying to get around the drivers who are on sort of the same strategy as you would be. We've seen Joseph Smith really have a difficult time trying to get out in front of Xavier. Xavier just doing an excellent job at protecting that race lead and the clean air. Just a couple more laps around until we get that stage. And right now, Xavier, the man up at the front. leading Joseph Smith. He goes for a little bit of a slide there, trying to get the power down back behind him in second. Christopher Stage again falling back a little bit more. That gap from second to third now to 3 seconds, falling slowly back into the hands of John Tiller in this 27. I'm not sure if it'll be enough though. Michael Badra, Ryan Holler with more issues there, coming off of 4, really struggling these last couple laps in this stage. He's fallen now back out back to 8th as they come around through 3 and 4. Xavier Rugglebrugge comes around to the start and finish line, and he will collect another stage win on the season. Joseph Smith will be second, Christopher Stange in third. Then you go down our lineup there, it'll go to John Tilder and Wyatt McKilson rounding out the top 5. Michael Badra will be our 6th place driver, Kenneth Lowry 7th, Ryan Holler, again like we just talked about a minute ago, falling back to 8th. Then you go back to Cody Blackmore and Dylan Carrier, who will be that 10th and final driver to collect stage points. Well, we expect all these drivers to come down pit road here. That group going to be led by Xavier Rugglebrugge and Joseph Smith. The field going to be able to make not really any adjustments, but they will be able to come down, take tires and fuel, and maybe make any sort of driving improvements that they need to here to get up for the last half of this race. And you know, maybe this could be a turning point for some. Ryan Holler, who looks to be having a decent night there, maybe trying to talk over a few things with his team and make sure that he can do what he needs to do to come out with a good finish. We'll take a look at this race recap real quick as well. We're in our caution here. So right now, current race leader Xavier Rugglebrugge, 82 out of 160, 3 cautions for 8 laps, 5 lead changes so far. It's been a heck of a battle up between these top 2, Xavier Rugglebrugge, Joseph Smith, Christopher Stange was up there as well. So definitely been a heck of a battle up towards the front. Smith actually losing some spots there on pit road. He'll now be back to 6th position. Then as we take a look at our weather display as well, right now 70 degrees out northwest. We'll have, our winds will be to the northwest for 11 miles an hour. Current skies are overcast, a little bit of cloud cover out there. You kind of see the sun popping in and out every couple of laps. And then our track temp is 93 degrees, so not the hottest track temp, but also not the coolest track temp. I'd say it's pretty ideal for these racing conditions here in New Hampshire. Getting set to take the green flag once again. Oh, bit of a bump there from John Tiller to the back bumper of Xavier Rugglebrugge. That was a pretty decent hit on the 27. That's going to cost the 27 some spots here as they roll into 1 and 2. Xavier doing a good recovery and not letting that bother him as they roll down the back straightaway. That really shot him out in front. Christopher Stange right now holding second strong. And Joseph Smith, he lost some positioning there on pit road, able to move himself from 6th to third in about a lap, which, you know, out of Joseph Smith, not too surprising. Trying to gain those lost pit road spots back. Oh, bit of a slide there, trying to get up in front of the 51 of Wyatt McKilson. They'll be maybe 3 wide for a moment. Sideways again, a great job by Joseph Smith to hang on to it, but boy, what a heck of a moment there for Joseph Smith in the 31. That could have been bad, and that had me nervous from up here. I'm sure that had that 31 crew chief nervous as well, but a great job to hang on to it.
That was a nice save.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, folks, we got Dylan Carrier up here. Dylan, early night to your night there after a hard, vicious lick coming off of 4, but now you're joining me up in the broadcast booth, and always a pleasure to be able to see you usually out there on track. Unfortunately, it came to a bit of an end, but it's going to be nice to have you here in the race, or at least I don't know how long you plan on staying, but if you want to stay for the rest of the race, you know, I'll be glad to have you. And I guess from your perspective, how exactly did that wreck play out in your eyes?
Yeah, don't ever listen to your spotter if you don't think you're clear. Spotter said clear, so I came up off the apron, and I was not clear. You know, it's unfortunate, you know, quick end of the night, but now I get to sit here with you and watch this battle. I mean, the on-track performance, everyone's doing really good tonight. Not too many people in the wall. Obviously, Joseph is completely sideways. I think he might have burned up his rear tires there, because it looks like he's struggling a little bit. Yep, he's going to come down pit road here, it looks like. Looks like he might have burned up his tires there, and I mean, he did go for a couple big slides there. Good job on him, you know, not wrecking the car, though.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about going for slides and you being in this race car each and every week. Talk about how big of a sort of setback that can be once you have not only one slide, but when you have a lot of slides like that in a short, expanded time. I mean, what really does that do handling-wise to that race car?
Especially at a track like New Hampshire, rear grip is very important. You slide those tires and it can be detrimental to your race, as I think Joseph just took his car to the garage. I wonder what that's about. Yeah, it looks like Joseph took the car behind the pit wall. I wonder what that's about. But yeah, no, rear grip is very important at a track like New Hampshire. You slide these tires and it can kill you for about 10-15 laps.
Yeah, that's an odd one, Smith. I mean, we really don't see, I mean, let alone any mistakes, but that I'm wondering if maybe that has to do with something mechanical under that race car, because like you said, it looks like he's fully pulled it back behind the pit road wall. We'll have to check in and see what exactly happened with that 31 of Joseph Smith, who's now gonna be probably out of this race for the rest of tonight's event, which if you're Xavier Rugglebrugge or Christopher Staines, you probably like having one less driver up there battling for that top spot. But I mean, right now it's been kind of a Xavier Rugglebrugge type of race. You know, we in these races that we see him get out front and move on to victory lane. I mean, majority of those races he puts himself out front early on and just kind of controls the race from there on out. Obviously, we did see Smith lead some laps, but Xavier right now doing an excellent job at doing what he needs to do to be able to maintain this clean air and the race's lead and not let that 29er Staines really close back on that back bumper.
Yeah, it's really been the battle of the three cars tonight. It's really been the Staines, Rugglebrugge, and Smith show, but honestly, what I think is going through Joseph's head is he has such a big point lead. He might just be pulling the car off and just relaxing for the rest of the night. Realized that, you know, he just put himself in a bad spot with those slides and knew it was going to probably take the rest of the race to get caught back up, and he probably just wants to relax, honestly. His teammate's leading, so, I mean, you know, if Xavier can pull out this win, I mean, it's still a win for Chesapeake Racing, so.
Yeah, and that's the perk of having a dominant teammate out there, you know, you'll know that at least one of you will more than likely have a shot at coming home with the victory. But before we go on to everything too much, you know, you are the league owner and whatnot, and you did talk about some future upcoming changes. So I don't want to, you know, I want to make sure that people kind of out there are in an understanding as to knowing what this series is gonna look like here in the next week or two. Do you want to talk to the crowd out there and just kind of let them know what this series has upcoming for us out there?
Yeah, sure. So due to the unpopularity of the O'Reilly's car, we actually are going to be switching to the ARCA car. That is the most popular and most requested car right now. So I know it's kind of a weird thing to switch mid-season, but everyone in the league is in agreement that, you know, it'll be a good change. It'll be a beneficial change. So this is our send-off race for the O'Reilly Series car. So starting next week, we'll be in the ARCA car. Moving forward for the rest of the season and also season 3. And then our plan right now is to either go back to the trucks or the next gen for season 4. So be on the lookout for that. But we figured, you know, we could get some more guys in here and bring more people into the league for racing a car that's more popular. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot more new names to check out coming next week at Auto Club, and I look forward to, you know, hopefully putting on a good show there. Auto Club's a nice big track. It'll be able to show the ARCA cars' capabilities, and we actually are taking the restrictor plates off the ARCA cars, so they will have 770 horsepower. It's a thing that I don't see any leagues do, and I figured, you know, let's give the ARCA car the max horsepower it's eligible to have, and we're just gonna send it.
And sending it, this league definitely will be able to do. That is for sure. It'll be a blast to watch these ARCA cars that, you know, like you mentioned, will have a little bit of a power boost here heading forward into next week. And I think a lot of cool upcoming changes for this league. You know, there's a lot to look forward to. So if you are interested in, and you are watching out there, you know, make sure you check out the National Stock Car iRacing Series. You know, I like to say there's always a lot of good racing week in and week out. I mean, we've seen it here tonight. Before Joseph Smith came and pulled that car back behind the wall, it was a three-way battle, and we really couldn't pick out a fan favorite between those three. But yeah, I mean, Auto Club's going to be a heck of a one to watch, and make sure that you tune in next week for that. But right now, eyes are all focused on Xavier Rugglebrugge, who has this top position, and he's been able to put a 6/10 of his second lead over Christopher Stange behind in the battle for third. Kind of heating up. Wyatt's been able to move himself by John. John kind of just right there, maybe trying to get that spot back. These two going at it these past couple laps, and less than 60 laps to go. I do expect us to see another pit stop here, probably coming up in about 40-ish laps.
It could be sooner than that. You get about 50-ish laps on a full tank, so it might be as soon as 20 laps. I mean, these top four are keeping it close here. I mean, Chris is, you know, 8/10 behind. I mean, all the way back to 4th to Tiller. He's only a 1.5 seconds behind Xavier, so maybe Xavier's struggling this run a little bit. He's not showing that he can really pull away from, you know, Stange and Wyatt and John here in the, you know, the last 20-ish laps. Oh, as we see one guy coming up pit road. Is that my driver? That looks like my driver. Yeah, Cody Blackmore to pit road.
Yeah, Cody Blackmore going to be the first driver to head on to pit road, which, yeah, I guess when I was doing, I was trying to do some quick math, and I guess it would probably be in the next 20 to 30 laps. We did see some drivers come down a little bit early on in that first stage, kind of split it down the middle, which, you know, we probably will see again here. You know, we just saw it out of the 84 Cody Blackmore, but you know, you did point out one thing. We did see kind of Xavier not have the long run speed there towards the end of a green flag cycle, and that definitely could be a factor to watch out for here. Not that he's really been able to pull out too far ahead. He's just kind of maintaining that lead. And these guys behind him, I mean, they're relatively maintaining the same amount of pace. It's going to be interesting to see if somebody back here can actually close that gap up to Xavier and maybe put the pressure on like Joseph Smith was doing earlier before he brought it back behind the pit road wall.
He does seem to be pulling away now. He might have made some adjustments on that last pit stop, where he's more even to the other guys on the short run speed. He is starting to pull away a little bit, but it could just be, you know, Wyatt and John stuck behind Chris, and if Chris is struggling, you know, it's going to back them all up. As we got a good battle going on here for second now. Wyatt's trying to take advantage of Stange. It looks like Stange is struggling a little bit, so Wyatt with a little bit of a slide there going into turn 3. Let's see if he can complete the pass here.
Yeah, heck of a moment
like
there.
He's gonna be able to.
That was
that was a little sketchy.
Yeah, you can see the tire marks be left on the racetrack there. That was definitely probably an eye opener to wake up the 51 and maybe his crew chief as well, grabbing his attention. That definitely could have been another moment, but does a great job at hanging on to it. And again, besides maybe losing a little bit of rubber there on those right rear tires, he's going to be able to maintain and continue to challenge Christopher Stange for that second position.
Yeah, they almost went 3 wide there for a second. Wyatt's going to move back in line. It looks like he's struggling with rear grip a little bit. He's bobbling on entry. I like his line. He is running a good line there to try to pass Chris, but I think he's struggling with rear grip. Oh, Chris in the wall a little bit there. Ooh, that was close.
Almost slight contact between the 51 and the 29, but they're able to hang on to it and maintain it. And back behind the 27 of John Tiller, maybe looking to make it. I don't know if he's looking to make it 3 wide, but he's looking to make this a 3-race battle, just waiting on his opportunity to maybe pounce and get around both these drivers, making it a 2-for-1 special. But Wyatt fighting hard on the inside. He's got the run here down the back straightaway. Will he be able to clear into 3 and 4? It looks like he will. So Wyatt now moves himself up to second. Stange takes a look to the inside. Not sure if he'll be able to keep that momentum rolling though through the exit.
Yeah, it seems like Wyatt got his bearings there. He got a really good run there off turn 2, running, we call it the C-Bell line here in the National Stock Car iRacing Series. It was me and Noah ran that line a lot last season here when we ran New Hampshire in the trucks, and it can work if you can get the tires to grip up, and you know, you can run that apron and get some good speed coming out of the corner on the longer run with those older tires. And it looks like that's what he did. Now he can carry that momentum and just sit here in second. And Xavier has pulled out to an almost 3-second lead. So yeah, maybe he did make some adjustments on that last stop because he is flying.
Adjustments probably were definitely made. You know, I like to say that stage is usually a mental reset for you drivers out there. Allows you to maybe pick apart what you need to do differently for the last portion of the race, but also these guys battling so hard for second also helped them out. So I mean, really, if you're Xavier, you're sitting in the perfect position, and you probably don't want to see a caution to maybe let that 51 challenge you for the race lead. Right now sitting pretty with a just over 2.5 second race lead here at lap 112. We're going to go ahead and take a final commercial side-by-side break. You guys won't miss a thing here, though. We'll be side-by-side the whole way through, and we'll be right back with you from New Hampshire for the National Stock Car iRacing Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air.
Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after kicks are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out.
Wheel to wheels, they come to the line.
Victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag has been ended.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
Gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can. Get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the National Stock Car iRacing Series live from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. If you're just joining us, it's been an interesting race from the start of the green flag. Xavier Rugglebruggy now currently finding himself out front. Joseph Smith, who found himself contending for the race win, or what could have been the race win, currently now finds himself back out behind the pit road wall in the garage after having something come up, so he will unfortunately not be able to continue on with this race. But if you're a driver like Dylan Carrier here, who is up in the booth with me, we were just talking about it under caution, not too much of a bad night to have something happen or pop up. Each one of these drivers, there's 10 drivers, and each one of you guys were able to collect some sort of stage point or points, depending on where you ran. But I mean, really, it's been so, I'd say, tame for these last couple of laps. It really seems like everybody's sort of settling in and finding their groove. Wyatt not really being able to close down that gap on Xavier in front, but I mean, we do still have one pit stop coming up here shortly, so that'll be something to watch out for.
Yeah, and I think Wyatt used up a lot of his tire trying to get around, Hiller, and I think he was battling with Haller there for a little bit, and and around them, that whole group. I mean, they were right up on top of each other, and I think Wyatt used up a lot of his stuff just getting around them. Xavier's been out in that clean air and just been able to cruise. I do think it's going to be interesting what the pit strategy is going to look like here. Is Wyatt going to try to short pit Xavier and try to make up some time, or we always could also see a late race caution.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a couple of times this season so far. You see everything kind of just what it looks like right now. Everybody's just kind of in their own zip code, kind of settling it down into doing their own race, and then somebody has something go wrong, and then we see a late race caution, and that regroups the whole field up, and it'll be interesting to see if these guys are able to get their pit stops done nice and clean without issue. But I do say, like, we talk about Wyatt burning up those tires just a bit more than he probably wanted to. I mean, those couple of slides definitely probably burned those right sides off. I wouldn't say he's struggling too much, but definitely, not able to get the power down as much as he would want to. Then John Tiller back in third. I mean, he's just been having a pretty decent and steady night, running in the top 5, trying to come out here with the podium. And, something you mentioned as well, watching that pit strategy here, trying to see if maybe Wyatt decides to bring it down a couple laps early. We saw in that first stage, Christopher Stange came down halfway, tried to leapfrog these guys, and it worked out for him there for a moment. And then we had that caution involving you, unfortunately, which kind of reset that whole strategy back to, I'd say, an even playing field in a way. But it could definitely shake things up if Wyatt decides to come down a little bit early and have that tire advantage, and maybe see him put himself out front.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not too far behind, so he could leapfrog Xavier here. I would like to see what happens with Chris, because Chris did short pit again here this last pit stop. I think he pit within the last couple laps. I didn't exactly see when he went into pit road, but he did pit a little early. So did his teammate Michael. So it'll be interesting to see if they can, make up this time and possibly jump Xavier, put Xavier back in dirty air, and see if his adjustments might be good for clean air. But once you get back in dirty air, it's a toss-up.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier with this kind of dirty air being more of a factor than some other cars. But I mean, right now, it really just, if you're Xavier, I mean, you probably are just waiting for your crew chief to call you down pit road, and you're obviously listening and watching that 51 as closely as possible to see when that 51 is going to work himself on the pit road. You don't want to make that difference between you two too big of a difference. You do have a little bit of room to work with, as you have almost a 5-second lead if you are the 5 of Xavier. So, I mean, there is some wiggle room, but you definitely don't want to overstay your hotel run, we'll say it, your hotel room. You want to be able to kind of be in par with that 51. And, like you mentioned, Christopher Stange came down pit road, I think it was about 6-7 laps ago. So
I just did the motion.
Yeah, I did too. So, it'll be interesting to see how he can come back and maybe get himself out in front, see how big of a lead that could potentially be. Obviously, he's hoping for this thing to run green, for that to work out as best as he as best as he possibly could have it go in his way. But these laps definitely all winding down. We're just coming up on 30 laps to go here in just a moment. So these laps, this race not quite over yet. Still a whole lot that could play out. And like you mentioned, Dylan, a caution at this point would definitely shake things up just a bit.
Oh yeah, it would definitely cause a lot more of aggression, short track bumping and running. But it does look like here, I mean, they should be getting pretty close. As yep, here we go, Xavier coming down pit road.
So his team finally decides to call him down pit road. Will Wyatt follow? Yes, Wyatt decides to come down pit road as well. John Tiller in the 27, running in third, right back behind him as well. So the top 3 going to work themselves down onto pit road. And at this point, Dylan, you need to be mindful at pit road. Only 45 miles an hour on this, I wouldn't say short pit road, but it is a very slow pit road. And at this point, if you make any speeding penalty or if you overshoot your box, that could definitely cost you a whole lot of time out there on track. But that 5 looks to have a nice clean pit stop, and he'll be off and away.
Yeah, and it looks like that Chris and Michael were not able to make up as much ground as I thought they would, and they're on a little bit older tires, so I don't know if they're going to be able to run down Xavier. You do got to baby it a couple of laps after you get fresh tires. This track is very unforgiving and very, very slick. So maybe he can make up a little bit of time here, but it looks like Xavier might have this one in the bag.
That gap between Xavier and Christopher comes out to be 2.7 seconds there. Christopher being out there for 10 laps so far. Xavier just coming off of pit road a moment ago, and I'm a little bit surprised that that really didn't leapfrog the 29 out in front, or at least close him down a little bit further than what it came out to be. But a nice job by Xavier to really maintain the pace out there on track and not allow that to be something that he has to watch out for coming off of pit road.
Yeah, he definitely executed a very good, clean green flag pit stop. I mean, he got the perfect entry, and his pit crew, pit crew did what they're supposed to do, and it, still kept him out to about a 3-second lead coming out of pit road. And and Wyatt's in the wall a little bit. As long as Wyatt can have have no trouble here, he should be able to run down Michael and Chris. We should see a good 1-2 here between Xavier and Wyatt, barring not a caution. But everyone's kind of spread out now, so I wouldn't see a caution coming out at this point. But I mean, you never know. Someone could self-spin.
For sure, at a track like this, so difficult. We already saw at the start of the race some drivers have some difficulties there coming off of turn 2, which, those were on fresh, cold tires. So, like you said, having to come off of pit road, you kind of got to play it a little bit safe for the first few laps. And if you try and overstep that boundary just a little bit, you could find yourself losing the rear end on that race car and going around and bringing out a caution. But if you're Xavier Rugglebrugge, you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, and that's really no pressure from out back. That gap now 5 seconds till second place, and out in front only one lap car in sight, which would probably not be a big issue to deal with.
Yeah, he should be able to get who's the lap car? Sorry, I'm trying to see, but Mike. Oh, it's Ryan. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan isn't. He'll get out of the way. He's not just gonna sit in front of you. He's already, he's 26 seconds behind. He's gonna go 1 lap down, 25 laps to go. I don't see Ryan, getting in the way of Xavier. I mean, Xavier's put on a pretty big lead here, and it doesn't look like Wyatt's really catching any. It looks like he's actually losing time. So Xavier's short run speed is there. Also, we got a little battle going on between Wyatt and Michael.
Wyatt trying to take that third spot away. He'll be able to clear a little bit fresher tires in that 37 car. That about 20 lap tire difference between those two drivers, but still, like you said, not really. He was, I believe, about 4.6 seconds back behind Xavier. Maybe it was a little bit more than that when they came down pit road. Right now, kind of doubled that to 10 seconds, so maybe having a little bit of issues coming onto pit road. Or maybe it's just that Xavier did just what he needed to do and had an excellent pit stop. But either way, I mean, Wyatt, he's going to have a bit of a ways to catch the 29 of Christopher Stange, who is about 4 seconds in front of him. I do see it being doable in these last 22 laps, but he'll need to be able to execute as best as he can to get a second place finish.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a lot fresher tires, and fresh tires do matter here. There's about 2 seconds of fall off in a given run with the fuel. So I mean, he might be running about a half a second quicker than Chris. So he could definitely run Chris down here. He's got it within 3 seconds. So we'll have to see if he can catch Chris in these last 22 laps. But it looks like the top 3 is set. Will probably be set here. Michael's kind of falling off a little bit, and I will also be interested. I was going to say this earlier, but I will also be interested to see if my driver can make it to the end, because he pit very early. I think he pit at lap 104. So he's definitely, Cody's going to have to stretch it. It'll be interesting to see if Cody can make it to the end here on fuel.
Our estimated fuel window is, I think he said, about 45-ish laps. Probably that would be a safe 45, 50. He's right now been out there for 37 laps, so it'll be interesting. Like you said, it'll be with 20 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see how he can manage these last 20 laps. But he has Xavier Rugglebrugge back in his rear view mirror, about to go down 1 lap here in that 84. Officially now will be scored at 1 lap down in the 7th position. Ryan Haller still running out in front, currently running in that 6th position. He's been able to kind of manage that gap between him and Xavier to hopefully come out of here with a good finish. Got that stage finish in 8th place after running in 4th to 5th. Just a little bit of a mistake earlier, trying to eliminate the mistakes here late in this race.
Yeah, and you can stretch it a little bit. I think you can get about 52 laps on a full tank flat out without saving. So, I mean, it's doable. I think Cody can do it. He's a good driver. So, and it looked like Wyatt has already started to pretty much run down Chris. Chris might have a little bit more worn tires than I thought. It's under a second.
So the question was if Wyatt could actually catch Chris there for second. Those two drivers both having a little bit of a handling sort of surprise there off of 2. Those cars kind of kicked out from underneath them, able to keep it going though. Wyatt trying to run a little bit higher to catch that 29, who again has a little bit older tires, trying to play a little bit different strategy there in the last part of this race. That gap continuing to close down as they work themselves within these last 17 laps. I would not be surprised if Wyatt can get around Chris here in the next lap and a half or so.
Yeah, I mean, if he can stay out of the wall, it's definitely doable. He did give the wall a little bit of a kiss there. But yeah, I thought, I mean, tires do make that much of a difference, as we see, you know, Wyatt make the pass there on Chris on the outside there for second place. So that Wyatt must have just had done a really good job of saving his tires there when he first came out of pit road. Looks like he should start pulling away here from Chris and maybe put a little bit of a dent into this lead. But I mean, I don't know if he's going to be making up 10 seconds here in 16 laps.
Yeah, and I mean, that would be, you'd probably need to have a little bit of rocket fuel, or have Xavier make a mistake to close up those just under 10 seconds in these last 15 laps. Those two drivers on the same set of tires. So I mean, as long as Xavier doesn't run too hard and burn off those tires in the next 5 to 6 laps, I mean, he should be able to maintain that race lead and not have any issues. And if there's any driver who knows how to set the pace and not overstep the boundaries, it's going to be Xavier Rugglebrugge, who wants to, we have a little bit of a spin there. It's the 27 of John Tiller. Is that going to bring out a caution? Not quite yet. He'll get it going, but that could have been our caution right there, Dylan.
Yeah, he spun at the perfect part of the track. If he would have spun just a little bit closer to turn 2, it would have triggered a caution. The iRacing stewards don't normally typically throw cautions if you spin more on the backstretch and down towards the bottom wall. So that was close. So Xavier probably just, puckered a little bit when he came around and seen John sitting down there. As, he's got that 10-second lead, and he does not want a caution right now.
Exactly. The last thing you'd want to see here with coming around to 12 laps to go would be a caution that could give these guys a chance at maybe being a little bit aggressive in moving you out the way for the win. But like you said, Dylan, that was pretty much the perfect spot for the 27 to not draw out a caution. And you see the tire marks there heading down towards that inside wall. We'll take a look at it real quick and see how this 27 went around. So working pretty well off of 4, coming around to 1. I'm not sure if he actually hit that inside wall, but it obviously does step out at some point. Oh yeah, it looks like it just came around on him. Does a great job at locking it up and keeping it. I guess he didn't hit that inside wall. That was fairly close though to hitting that inside wall.
Yeah, and it's a good thing he only also slightly backed up, because you can also trigger a caution that way. So, I mean, he executed perfectly to not, bring out a caution there, and I'm sure Xavier's going to really appreciate that. But yeah, if he would have spun about 10 feet sooner, it definitely would have triggered a caution there.
And those 10 feet could have been the turning point, but, like you said, Xavier maybe John will be getting a bit of a little Christmas card there at the end of the season for that moment. Right now, though, Xavier coming around to 9 laps to go. He still has one driver in front of him that probably he might catch, but probably won't catch. That's Ryan Haller in front. Ryan just trying to hang on for a top 5 finish. John Taylor has worked himself onto pit road, I believe. Or actually, did he stay out? I think he did stay out. So he hasn't come down pit road to check any of that, but because of that spin, he did go down a lap, and that moves Ryan inside the top 5. The gap between first and second, though, still remaining the same, about that 10-second mark. So Wyatt hasn't been able to close down or find anything at all in the last 15-ish laps here, which, I mean, you know, like I said, if you're Xavier, you just know how to put these races together. You're so far into this season so far. You have multiple wins under your belt. You have a great teammate like Joseph Smith to lean off of, who, you know, you ran around and you probably might have learned something riding behind him and taking that knowledge here to the last half of this race, and looking great for these last couple of laps and continuing to just slowly pull away from second place driver Wyatt McKilson.
Yeah, and I mean, Wyatt was kind of battling there with John for a second after John spun. That's why he lost some time. He was gaining a slight bit, you know, nothing that was going to matter, but that put the time back to, you know, a 10-second lead. So if I'm Xavier here, I'm just coasting to the finish. I'm not trying to, you know, go up and put Ryan a lap down. I'm just coasting at this point. You know, 6 laps to go with basically an 11-second lead. Yeah, I'm just coasting here.
The fun part about New Hampshire as well, unfortunately we don't get it in the virtual, but we could probably maybe try and work out sending him something cool. But in real life, you do get a lobster as a win in the cup race. So Xavier maybe not going to be able to hold a lobster virtually, but we can present him a virtual one here later on and see how that works out.
Oh, I can definitely get him a lobster. All right, it'll be probably 3D printed, but I can get him a lobster.
We'll see how Xavier reacts to that. I'm not sure what Xavier thinks of lobsters, but it would definitely fit this racetrack. And you know, if he's able to hang on for these last 5 laps, definitely will be well deserved. He's now looking to the inside of Ryan. Ryan maybe tagging that outside wall just a bit, trying to get out the way. So Ryan officially now going down a lap, still maintaining 5th though. He's got the 37 right in front of him, who will be the next driver to go a lap down here in just a moment.
Yeah, I'll have to tell him in his interview when we do the interviews here soon. I'm gonna have to tell him that he's getting a free 3D printed lobster.
I'm sure he'll love that. Like I said, I don't know what his reaction will be like, but I can't wait to tell him about that. And he's just 3 laps now away from collecting another win on this season. The 37 and the 19 actually switched positions there, so Ryan moves up to 4th place. A great night so far for Ryan, who has had a rough couple of weeks with the bad luck that hasn't really given him the best finishes, but right now, right before our chase begins, maybe finding that little bit of a momentum boost to turn his season into the right way up.
Most definitely, he's had some Connor Zilish type luck the last couple weeks. I feel bad for Ryan. He's just had some really bad luck. But you know, getting a solid 4th place finish tonight will definitely probably boost some morale and give him some good, much needed points.
Xavier Rogelberg now working himself through 3 and 4. This time by, he will see the white flag. 1 lap to go here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway for Xavier Rogelberg, looking to capture another win on the season after having a dominating performance so far here tonight in the National Stock Car iRacing Series. 1 last time around down the back straightaway, all nice and clean. No issues out from that 5 car. As he heads into turns 3 and 4, he looks to make the final set of corners a good one. Coming off of turn number 4 here, Xavier Rogelberg will collect another win on the season and put himself in victory lane at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
What an absolutely dominating performance there by Xavier. I mean, I look forward to seeing Xavier hopefully battle, cut into this points lead that Joseph has. It'll be exciting to see once the chase starts what those two can do.
Yeah, Joseph Smith, Xavier Rogelbrugge bringing a heck of a battle on this season for that top spot. Obviously, Smith has a little bit of a points lead, but Xavier has been really switching back and forth when it comes to race wins between him and Smith, and these two, as this championship battle begins, it's going to be intense, and I don't know if I can actually say I have a favorite between one another of those two, but right now, Xavier going to come around to the front stretch. Oh, almost hit the outside wall, but he'll be able to celebrate here on the start-finish line.
Yeah, he is absolutely burning it down. Now, I will say this. Barring Joseph maybe not showing up next week, if he does show up next week, Joseph Smith has officially clinched the regular season championship.
That regular season championship meaning a whole lot. Not only do you get bragging rights, but I mean, you also have that momentum going into the chase, and Xavier actually taking a little bit of a road course sort of approach to his burnout. He's going to cut through the grass now and come back through 3 and 4, and once we get him all settled in, we'll be able to take a moment and speak with our race winner here. He's going to come back across the start finish line and do another burnout. Oh, a little bit of a hard hit there to the inside wall.
A little bit. It's repairable. It's fine. He won the race.
Yeah.
I'm sure the team and the crew chief won't be mad at that.
Yeah, definitely doesn't really affect anything at this point, which is a good thing. But he's going to go ahead and park it on the start-finish line, and we'll give him just a moment to get into the waiting room where we will be able to have a moment to speak with him. And actually, just as they say that, let's go ahead and bring up our race winner, Xavier Rogelbrugge, with a dominating performance here tonight at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It looked like, to start things off, you had a little bit of pressure from Joseph Smith, and then we saw Smith have to pull it back behind the wall. At that point, it was really just your race to be in control of. How did that one go for you and this team, and really, what does this win mean for you?
Well, 4 in a row. It's very nice. Starting to build a cushion up to Landon, who didn't show up tonight, to start the chase, or pretty sure we have one more race until the chase, so starting to build that cushion to Landon. That was not an easy race at the start. I thought I was going to be the fastest car, but then Joseph started reeling me in. I thought I was able to keep him at bay by just staying on the high side, but he saved a bit better than me, and after he got around me, couldn't get back to him. So after we pitted, I undercutted him. I actually got ahead of him. I think he had a problem. I'm not 100% sure. But undercutted him, got in front, and I was actually catching stage until that caution came out, unfortunately, so it was kind of a level playing field. But luckily, I was ahead of Joseph, and he had some traffic to work through. But even after he worked through all that, he got right back up to me, and I put on probably one of the better defensive drives I've put on. It's been a while since I had to defend that hard from someone, but he was getting a bit frustrated. I could tell he shoved me into 3. Just rubbing his racing. And then I don't know what happened after that. He kind of just pulled it back behind the wall, and after that, I didn't really have too much competition on the long run. I was better than pretty much everyone else, and after pit stops, I was just gone.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you definitely had a better long run speed there after that second round of pit stops. I'm interested, did you make any adjustments there after that second pit stop? Because it seemed like you were better than others on the shorter run there at the beginning of the race, but it seems like as the race went on, you got better at the long run speed and was actually able to set those gaps up and really get out in front of those guys and keep that clean air and work through that lap traffic.
Yeah, I did make a couple adjustments in car. I was messing with the brake bias a lot. I didn't have too much time to mess around with the brakes and whatnot. So I was changing that constantly. That was a big help. And then I also figured out the best way to run the second lane up, roll in the car and whatnot. After I figured that out, I felt like I was far and away the fastest car on track because I felt like I was able to roll it better than anyone else, and I was able to save tires better than anyone else.
Well, I don't know if you want to tell him, Dylan, what we were talking about, giving our race winner here, but I'll let you go ahead and tell him about what kind of fun he'll get here from the league.
Yeah, so, New Hampshire tradition, everyone gets a lobster for race wins. So obviously I can't send you a live lobster, but I can send you a 3D printed one. So get with me later and we'll get you your race win lobster, okay?
Oh, okay. First trophy, that's nice.
It's something we're going to start doing. I want to start incorporating, the traditions of certain tracks and, 3D printing, 3D printing stuff, it's not crazy. I have a 3D printer at work that I can use. So, it's not going to cost me anything, so I can start giving those out to the drivers, feel people, get people to feel more included and whatnot. So I feel like it's a nice thing we're going to start doing as of this week. So I just wanted to surprise you with that. So it's not going to be a very big lobster. Or my 3D printer at work's not very big, but it'll still be, synonymous with the whole New Hampshire and getting the win here tonight.
All right, well, that's cool.
All right, Xavier. Well, before we let you go, celebrate here some more here in Victory Lane. Is there any shout-outs you'd like to give or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Well, obviously, shout out to everyone at CHR. A bit of a smaller crew tonight. Only had me and Joseph. Everyone else is doing whatever they want to do. So, shout out to Joseph Smith, obviously. Want to shout out all my friends and family for showing up. Especially want to shout out my grandma. She watches every single one of these races. So, yeah, let's go into next week at Auto Club, I believe.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is Auto Club, and oh, sorry, if you want
No,
to
go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump
Go
in.
ahead.
I would like to let you also know that Chesapeake Racing has clinched the regular season championship. Joseph doesn't even have to show up next week. He's clinched I just did the math. Joseph has clinched the regular season championship, and you guys have also, the team has secured the regular season championship for the season for the team. So congratulations.
Yes. Let's go. It's nice. Do we get money?
I'll send you a little bit of extra. I'll do you a solid. I got you.
Okay.
All righty, Xavier. Well, congrats on your race win here. We're going to go let you celebrate here some more, and hopefully we can speak to you next week at Auto Club.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
All right, that was our race winner, Xavier Rugglebrugge, who had a dominating performance and was able to capture the win here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and move on to our second place driver. Standing by with Wyatt. Wyatt finishing second here tonight. Not really a kind of difficult task out there tonight for you. It really looked like you had it pretty much figured out a majority of the night. Still, I mean, you had a few moments there when trying to keep that car underneath you. You had a few slides there. I mean, really, did that hurt you just enough to where it didn't allow you to catch up to the back bumper of Xavier for the race leader? I mean, really, was there anything that you think maybe you needed to do a bit differently there after stage end?
Was riding the car the whole race. I was pretty content with P2. Xavier was way up there. I kind of watching his lap times and I could match him, but I could tell he was just taking care of his tires. So, yeah, it was just really loose, and then it started getting tight throughout the race, especially probably the last couple runs. It started getting really tight because I was burning through the tires more. But it was a decent night. P2, I'll take it. But yeah, just I had a get the tire to slide just to make the turn, and to make decent lap times. So, yeah.
Yeah, was that due?
Yeah,
I mean, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Was that due to any of the transition from the kind of partly cloudy that we started on to the sun fully coming out, or was that just from like really the car within itself?
Let's say with weather, they definitely changed a good bit. Just when the track got a little hotter, it just gripped up a lot more, it seemed like. So, but that's probably also how I was driving. That's why I was trying to diamond the track super hard and running 3 and 4 off the track on the bottom, just to get that good turn in on exit.
Yeah, I definitely felt like there, once the started to transition, that I could tell the track was getting a little bit more grip, but it was also the exits were a little bit slicker. We did see you get sideways a little bit. Do you think that kind of played into a role with maybe losing some rear grip there before that last round of pit stops?
Definitely. The grip kind of just went away. So, but it's still fun.
Alrighty, Wyatt. Well, before we let you go here, is there any shouts you'd like to give or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thank you, Dylan, for putting on the league, and thank you, Oscar, for putting on the broadcast, and I'd like to thank Ryan for sticking with me throughout all the time, throughout the leagues, and yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back, Wyatt. You know, we've missed you. You've not been here for a few weeks, and it's glad to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. Getting married in a few weeks, so.
Oh, congratulations!
Thanks,
congratulations.
Man. Yep. So. But yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That was our second place driver, Wyatt McKilson, who, I heard him say maybe he just did not have that speed compared to Xavier throughout the whole night. Xavier, I mean, was really just on another page for a majority of the night, and made it difficult for anybody to really even get a chance to give him a shot at that race lead. One driver, though, who did have a chance here and there was our third place driver standing by, Chris Strange. Chris, a third place finish here tonight at New Hampshire. It looked like you may have had some speed there early on, then played a little bit of a different strategy there. Were able to lead a couple laps, and then caution came out, and that kind of, I wouldn't say flip-flop your strategy, but it made you kind of play a different hand for some of the rest of the night. What was it like for you in that 29 team out there?
Yeah, I had a really good grasp on the balance of the car when the track temp was down below 90. Felt really neutral and was really able to rotate the center of the corner. But as that track temp come up and the track got rubbered in a little bit, I just couldn't find that same front turn I had, and I was just burning the tires off it. So had to try and do something a little bit different. The way that caution came out there before the stage, I figured, what the hell, throw some freshies on it, see if I can't go win the stage. And I still couldn't get past them 2 rocket ships up there. But yeah, another week, another podium, bunch of points. So we'll take it.
Do you feel like the balance of the car really shifted that much once the sun started to peak out? I noticed that a lot of people, it seems like they had more grip on entry, but it was a little bit looser on exit. Would you say that that's pretty much what happened once that sun started peaking out and that track temp came up?
Really what was getting me is I was kind of starting to chatter the fronts just that little bit. Just couldn't get that center rotation to, and then you're trying to use more throttle to get the car to rotate, and that's what's, guys breaking the rear tires loose. But yeah, I was kind of just like I said, chattering the fronts when the temps come up. Just couldn't quite find that balance. Yeah, had some short run speed though.
Short run speed was definitely one of your highlights of tonight's race, and again, leading a couple of laps there during that first pit stop strategy, and then coming home with the third, definitely something to hang your head on it. Again, you know, as this championship and this sort of chase heats up, I mean, you look forward to it. Is there any sort of preparations? I mean, I know we have a new car coming in, but is there any preparations besides that you need to look at to compete for this championship?
Yeah, I'm gonna take donations for a bounty on that 5 and that 31, because unless they're out of the race, I don't know that I got a chance.
Well, look at it this way.
I'm
Joseph
kidding.
has never ran the ARCA car.
Neither have I.
Well, I have faith in you, though, Chris. I have faith in you. You're a good
We're gonna
driver.
get
I
it
have
done.
faith.
We're gonna get it done. I'm gonna go steal another championship.
All right, Chris. Well, before I let you go here and debrief with your team, any sponsors or any shouts?
Yeah, big shout out to you, Oscar, and of course Dylan, for trying to keep everything together here, and appreciate the fans watching. Even though we had a pretty small group tonight, it was a workout, I'll tell you, behind the wheel. But you know, appreciate everybody watching, and big shout out to Michael Badra and Badra Sports Cards and Collectibles, and yeah, shout out to the family. And I'm gonna go jump in a dirt street stock here in about 5 minutes and go run another one.
Alrighty, well, we wish you luck in that race, that street stock race, and hopefully we can speak to you next week at Auto Club.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
That was our third place driver, Chris Stange, running up the podium here. And, you know, Dylan, I guess we didn't really go too much over it, but I guess hearing from the drivers there, weather really did play into a factor there. And, you know, we really started this race on a pretty cloudy, overcast racetrack with a cooler temp, and then towards the end there, definitely, once the sun came out, it definitely got a little bit hot and slick, which, you know, talking to those drivers may have given these guys a little bit more of something that they really didn't want to have to deal with or expected. But either way, I mean, Xavier was able to top the boards in almost every single checkbox for the night, and comes out of here as our eventual race winner. And what a heck of a race from start to finish.
Yeah, he definitely put on a dominating performance, and he played the transition perfectly. He seemed like he even got faster once the track transitioned. He made the right adjustments, and yeah, and you know, so it's something that these drivers weren't expecting. You know, throughout all of practice and qualifying, it was very overcast, and the track was a little cooler, so you could really push it into the corner, and it wasn't as loose coming off. And yeah, once that sun peaked out, I mean, yeah, you could still send it in deep into the corner and have that grip, but it definitely got a lot slicker on exit.
For sure, and definitely something that these drivers have to adjust to. And you know, it'll be interesting for Auto Club next week. Like I said, that'll be Auto Club in the new ARCA car here. A little bit of a power increase, which will be interesting to watch. And then that'll be our final race before we get things started for our chase, which will be, again, it'll be, I think it's 6 races, if I remember correctly, which then we will crown our champion, and Joseph Smith comes in to that with the momentum. Xavier also having momentum right behind him with these wins that he's been able to cap off recently. But before we let you guys go, I just want to say, y'all, thank you for tuning in here. Again, you know, a little bit smaller field here tonight, but these guys still put on a heck of a show. Dylan, is there anything else you'd like to add before we get things wrapped up?
Yeah, I hope everyone's excited. Looking forward to next week at a night race at Auto Club. It's going to be nighttime, so you know, it's going to be a very grippy track, and with that extra, you know, that extra 70 horsepower, taking those restrictor plates off on those ARCA cars, I believe it is going to be a fantastic race, and I hope everyone tunes in and enjoys the show.
For sure, will be a fun and a blast when you heard it. Auto Club at night next week here for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Same time, same place, right here on Turn Sector Media. We will see you guys back here hopefully next week. Until then, have a great rest of your night, guys, and we hope to see you back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving